Welcome back to the IS Companion. In today's lecture, we will discuss the Controller and Auditor General of India, Guardian of the Public Purse. Article 148 of the Constitution of India establishes an independent office for the Controller and Auditor General of India, CAG. The CAG heads the Indian Audit and Accounts Department and serves as the guardian of the public purse, overseeing the country's entire financial system at both the central and state levels. The primary duty of the CAG is to uphold the Constitution and the laws of Parliament in financial administration. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar once remarked that the CAG is the most important officer under the Constitution of India. As one of the pillars of India's democratic system, alongside the Supreme Court, the Election Commission, and the Union Public Service Commission, the CAG plays a crucial role in ensuring financial accountability and transparency. Appointment and term. The CAG is appointed by the President of India through a warrant under his hand and seal. Before assuming office, the CAG takes an oath of allegiance to the Constitution, pledging to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, perform duties faithfully and impartially, and uphold the laws of the country. The CAG serves a term of 6 years or until reaching the age of 65, whichever comes first. The CAG can resign by writing to the President and can be removed by the President on grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity, following a resolution passed by both Houses of Parliament with a special majority, akin to the process for removing a Supreme Court judge. Independence. The Constitution ensures the independence of the CAG through several provisions. The CAG enjoys security of tenure and can only be removed following the prescribed constitutional procedure. Post-retirement, the CAG is ineligible for any further government office. The CAG's salary and service conditions are determined by Parliament, and his salary is equivalent to that of a Supreme Court judge. Once appointed, the CAG's salary and retirement benefits cannot be altered to his disadvantage. The President, in consultation with the CAG, prescribes the service conditions of the Indian Audit and Accounts Department's personnel. The administrative expenses of the CAG's office are charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India, making them not subject to parliamentary vote. Furthermore, the CAG operates independently, without ministerial representation in Parliament, ensuring no political influence on his actions. Duties and powers. Article 149 of the Constitution authorizes Parliament to define the duties and powers of the CAG. The CAG's Duties, Powers, and Conditions of Service Act of 1971, amended in 1976, outlines these responsibilities, separating accounts from audit functions in the central government. Key duties include auditing accounts related to all expenditure from the consolidated funds of India, states, and union territories with legislative assemblies. The CAG also audits expenditure from the contingency funds and public accounts of India and states. Additionally, the CAG audits all trading, manufacturing, profit and loss accounts, balance sheets, and subsidiary accounts of central and state departments. Ensuring effective checks on the assessment, collection, and allocation of revenues is another critical function. The CAG also audits bodies and authorities substantially financed by central or state revenues, government companies, and other corporations as required by law. Further, the CAG audits transactions related to central and state government debts, sinking funds, deposits, advances, suspense accounts, and remittances. The CAG can audit the accounts of any authority upon the President's or Governor's request. The CAG advises the President on the form of accounts for the centre and states, submits audit reports on the centre's accounts to the President and on states' accounts to the respective governors, and certifies the net proceeds of any tax or duty. Additionally, The CAG acts as a guide to the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament and compiles and maintains state government accounts, although since 1976, the CAG no longer compiles central government accounts. The CAG submits 3 audit reports annually to the President on appropriation accounts, finance accounts, and public undertakings. These reports are then presented to Parliament, where the Public Accounts Committee examines them. Role: the CAG's primary role is to ensure financial accountability and transparency within the executive branch, acting as an agent of Parliament. The CAG has greater autonomy in auditing expenditures compared to receipts and stocks, deciding the scope of audits independently while requiring executive approval for procedural audits. The CAG's audits include both legal regulatory audits and discretionary propriety audits to assess the wisdom and economy of government expenditures. However, Secret Service expenditures are exempt from detailed auditing, with the CAG accepting certificates from competent authorities instead. Despite the Constitution envisioning the CAG as both Controller and Auditor General, in practice, the CAG functions mainly as an Auditor General. Unlike the CAG of Britain, the Indian CAG does not control the issuance of money from the Consolidated Fund, overseeing expenditures only after they occur. CAG and Corporations. The CAG's role in auditing public corporations varies. Some corporations, such as the Damodar Valley Corporation and Air India, are audited entirely by the CAG. Other corporations are audited by private auditors, appointed in consultation with the CAG performing supplementary audits if necessary. Still, some corporations undergo exclusive private audits without CAG involvement, submitting their annual reports and accounts directly to Parliament. Examples include the Life Insurance Corporation of India and the Reserve Bank of India. Government companies are audited by private auditors appointed on the CAG's advice, with the CAG conducting supplementary or test audits. An audit board, established in 1968, aids the CAG by involving external specialists for auditing specialized enterprises. This board was recommended by the Administrative Reforms Commission and comprises a chairman and 2 members appointed by the CAG. Appleby's criticism. Paul H. Appleby, in his reports on Indian administration, criticized the CAG's role, suggesting its functions were remnants of colonial rule and overly repressive. He argued that auditing impedes decision-making and that Parliament overestimates its importance. Appleby contended that auditors lack administrative insight, making their role less significant than perceived, and suggested abolishing the CAG's office. However, this perspective overlooks the critical oversight and accountability functions the CAG provides in maintaining a transparent and responsible government. In conclusion, the Controller and Auditor General of India plays a vital role in upholding financial integrity and accountability within the Indian governmental framework. Through comprehensive auditing and advisory functions, the CAG ensures that public funds are used efficiently and legally, reinforcing the principles of democratic governance and fiscal responsibility. Thank you. Follow us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/IAS Companion.